Hello friends, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to implement dynamic links in one of my projects. So I just thought I should make another tutorial, a follow-up tutorial for you guys, since the last one, most users complained that they couldn't really get it. So I hope to make this one simple. So the first thing we're going to do is open the project in which you want to implement dynamic links. We're going to start with the app logic before we even go to our Firebase console. So the first portion of this tutorial starts from the main activity. Here you have to add your dynamic link component. You can name it anything you want. Then I've got some logic that I've already copied from my other project, so you should just configure exactly as you see. So we add on success. Let's see what happens on success. So we check if the dynamic link is empty. If the dynamic link is empty, we just continue with our usual logic, check for permission. Then we go to an activity. Let's do this. Then I want to go to home activity. So if the dynamic link is empty, my logic will just go to home activity. If the dynamic link is not empty, so I'll check for permission as usual. Then I make a string get dynamic links only. Get dynamic links only. Then I also make another one, get core values links. Core values links. Get core values links and get dynamic links only. So if you want, you can even leave out get dynamic links only. Then in get core values links, we catch the dynamic link there, and here we replace a string. This string, I'll show you where it's coming from. So you replace this. In short, this will not be there, we'll only catch the link. Then after 3 seconds, we go to the activity in which we're going to handle the dynamic link from. So in this case, I'll handle it from the same home activity. Then we create a shared preference called dyne. You can name it anything you want, but for simplicity, simply follow through so that once you get it, you can be able to modify it to your liking. Then this dyne will have a key called key, and it will hold our value, in short our dynamic link. Okay, so we are done with on success logic. Let's go on failure. So if there's error, we just go to home activity or any other activity you want to go to when an error occurs. Then we have to add on becoming visible logic. Here we initialize dynamic links on this activity. Main activity, dyne link there. Then on create, we set the data host. We can get the link from our Firebase console. So add an add source directly there and input your link. Since we started without the link, let's leave this empty. We'll need to put our link there once we get it from our Firebase console. We are done with the logic on main activity. Let's go to the activity where we catch and handle the dynamic link. So in home activity, in on create, we're going to create a number variable, and also add our shared preference exactly as we did in main activity. So this is our logic here. In home activity, we create a shared preference dine like we did in main activity. Dine. With the same key, the key dine, which we catch in main activity on success. Dine key. Then we create a number variable num. Here what happens is we are going to convert the dynamic link to a number variable, to number, dine, and key. So you have to make sure this dynamic link only contains numbers. Then once we set the number variable to num, we go to onBind custom view if you're going to use a recycler or a list view. So I want the handling to be done in recycler view 2. So I'll configure recycler view 2. So what we need here is to get the dynamic key. If it's empty, then we just do our usual logic. Let me just show you what we do if it's empty. Okay, so if it's empty, just do your usual binding, nothing else. But if it's not empty, it means we have a dynamic link and we need to handle it. So to handle the dynamic link, you get your onPressed logic, add it on else. So if there is a dynamic link, then we remove the key, dine key, and get the content of the number variable we just initialized in onCreate activity. So which means it will get the data at that particular position caught from the dynamic link. This is the key to make this work. So just replace position with the static position from the dynamic link. Okay, so this is what we have now, and we have handled the dynamic link, and it will take us to another activity. So let this activity be the final activity where you are going to display the data you've just gotten. So let's look at preview activity. That's the activity we go to. Before we do that, let's also look at onClick logic, because from the onClick logic, that's where we get the position here of the data we want to share. So master this. I created the shared preference component with name transfer, and I get the position here. So you can also get the position using your own shared preference, whatever name you give it, but just make sure you get the position. So let's go to preview activity. So in preview activity, this is where we're going to share our dynamic link from, and we're also going to view the data we just got from the previous activity from our dynamic link. So once we get that data, it will be displayed here according to your configuration. So this is what I have for my activity: transfer, get distribution, check if it's empty. So I check all these if they are empty and do as necessary. So let's add a share button. Where do I add my share button? So I'll quickly add a share button. Let's say share library. Since I'm sharing libraries in this app, so I'll just say share library, and I'll add a share image view there. So once image view 5, which is the share button, is clicked, image view 5, we share the data through dynamic links. So let's look at our share logic. What does it contain? Okay, so this is a simple toast that I made. It's not important, you can remove it for your project, but I first toast generating link. Then I hide image view 5. Then I create some strings, one named position, another one named title, another one description, and another one image, and another one short dine. So the position will receive the data from our shared preference in the previous activity, transfer position. So let's look at it in our previous activity where we have our recycler view 2. This is where I share the position from on click. So transfer position, there I get the position. This is the position we handle in the activity where we share the dynamic link from here. Then a title, we need a title. You can put any title there, but I want my title to be the name of the library. So the name of the library will be in toolbar. Let me look at my logic again. So yes, my name is here. So transfer name. I get my name from my shared preference. So to make it a title, then a description. I'll get my description from text view 1. So description will be from text view 1. Then an image view. I'll get my image view from the preview, which will be here. So let's see how do I handle the link. So transfer logo into image view. So I can use this string image, or use the shared preference, but I'll go with the string image there. So we have our position, title, description, and image ready. Then here we need the dynamic link. Don't worry, we're going to get it from our Firebase. Then change this to the activity that you're implementing the share logic in. Then add these strings, position, title, description, short dine there according to their description. Then this link, remember this link from the start of the tutorial, this link should be exact as the one we put on main activity. So in this example, I've put the link to one of my apps, and the same link appears in main activity. on success here. So these links, when they are the same, they cancel each other, just leaving out the number which will be used to handle our dynamic links. So make sure they match, otherwise you will get an error and the app might crash. Then you add your image view there. Then we initialize our shortdown by getting the dynamic link. Then we shorten the long dynamic link, adding this prefix HTTPs, then get the dynamic link. So this shortdown, you can even leave it out, it's not really important. Then on success, what happens if it's successful? So I want to show my image view 5 since we hid it on share click. So it will show the image view 5 and it will share the dynamic link. If it's not successful, I want it to still show my image view 5, which is the share button, and I want it to alert the user that dynamic link generation has failed. So you can use a toast to do that, like I have done here. Link generation failed. Let it be an error. Okay, so now the only thing remaining is to generate our dynamic link. So let's just minimize our project. Then you need to open your browser, then go to Firebase. So I'm assuming you've already set up your project in your Firebase. If you have not, quickly set up your project in Firebase and link the two. So choose your project, then go to menu, then engage, then choose dynamic links. Let's get started. Then add your URL there. If you've got your own domain, you can add it there. If you do not have, just type anything that you want to name your domain, and Google will give you suggestions depending on the links that are available. So my app is local library, so let's see if local library actually does exist. Okay, so I've chosen local library there from the suggestion, and our link is ready. Local library page.link has been verified. Just finish that. So here is your dynamic link. This is all you need. Just take note of this, and we're going to now type it in our project. So open your project and fill in local library. Copy it, local library. So make sure it's correct, as in the way you have set it up in Firebase. It should be exact spelling. Let's go to main activity. In main activity, on create, we need to add it here. So HTTPs, then paste the dynamic link there, like that. So also make sure this is correct, local library.page.link. Okay, so we are done with dynamic link setup. Let's just run the project and see if we actually have a working dynamic links. Let me just go to preview page and counter check if I did add dynamic link. No, I did not. So we need to add the component here as well. So what is the name of my dynamic link? So you can just create your dynamic link, dyne link. You can name it anything you want, but according to my logic, I use dyne link, so I name it dyne link. Dyne link. There. So once you are set up, you have your dynamic link ready there. Just add on success and failure listeners and don't initialize them, just like that. No need for adding logic here. Then run the project and our dynamic links should be working. Open. So let's try to share. Generating dynamic link. Okay, so our dynamic links are working, and let's just try to quickly share in a group. There we go, a preview has been generated and the details as I set up, the name and the description and the image. Then I share it like that. So let's also test if I click on it, if it opens our app. There we go. So our dynamic links are working.